thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Lou Jogman. I'm the Chief of Police here in Highland Park, and we're honored that you're all out here today. We really are. It means a lot to our team and our department that you all would come and take an hour or so out of your time to learn about what we're trying to do and to help us in our partnership with the community. I've been here about 3.5 years as Chief of Police, and I've got to tell you, and I say it repeatedly, we have a wonderful group of officers here. We really, truly do. We have a wonderful community and a great partnership. And there's a lot of good things that are going on within Highland Park. And you'll learn a little bit about those today. And I'm going to talk shortly about one of our bigger programs, our 10 shared principles, and why it's just so important for the community to be out talking with us so that we know exactly what kind of policing we want here in Highland Park and what we expect of our officers and how we all can work together to keep our community safe, because it really is the partnership that means the difference when it comes to all the things that are going on in our world today. We really have to know each other and work closely together. So I'm confident that as you go through tonight, we're going to go through a little bit of a program, you're going to maybe learn some things about the department you might not have known. I'm hopeful that that's the case. Certainly going to have time and a chance for you to ask questions. You're going to get to know some of our officers and about our PBC program. Depending on where you live in the community, you actually have your own personal officer. So it's kind of a cool concept. It's a way we're trying to personalize law enforcement, really connect again with our community, and so folks get to know officers more on a personal basis and feel comfortable reaching out to them with either questions or concerns that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have. So it's an exciting program for us. These are some fabulous officers that are involved in the program. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and you'll get to learn a little bit about them. And I'm going to turn it over right now to Sergeant Sean Gaylger, who kind of oversees the PBC program, the Police Beat Coordinator program, and Commander Chris O'Neill, who's our patrol commander. So all those officers you see in squad cars on the street in uniform, he oversees them on a day-to-day basis. So the two of them will take you through just a couple of minutes about what that PBC program looks like and what it's about and why we're actually doing it here in town. So thank you again for coming. Really appreciate it. See you in a bit.
Hello everyone, I'd like to echo the Chief's words. It's great to have people come out, and we also have people joining us on Facebook Live. So we're really excited about that and excited to engage with people. The last year and a half have been a struggle for us to engage with the public. So we really do appreciate you guys taking the time and coming out to join us. So we'll talk a little bit about the program. It's been about 3 years since we've started the Police Beat Coordinator program. And we'll go through in a little bit and introduce you to each of the officers and the respective beats. And then we have some other officers that assist us in supporting the program. I oversee the program, but these are our highest performing officers. They do a great job every day. And the idea of the program is to have some continuity if you're having a problem in your neighborhood, if you're seeing some reoccurring things. It gives you a person that kind of knows the background of what the problem is. It's not something that you're explaining the first time, and then somebody comes the next time and you have to explain it all again and something again. Kind of the idea there. And it also gives us the opportunity, as the Chief mentioned, to partner with the community and address some of the bigger issues that are going on that maybe we're not seeing or we don't understand is impacting your life. So it's kind of the basics of the program. It was going really well for us, and then COVID backtracked us, and now we're getting back on, and we're really appreciating today and the opportunity for us to get back out there and join with the community.
So I just want to add to that. That's a really good detailed explanation of the program. The Chief had this vision for the Police Beat Coordinator program. It's really to develop a partnership with the community and engage with the community. The police serve the community, but we need the community's help to help us do our job. And over the years, we've moved from a crime fighting role to community policing and community engagement. So again, this team really does go above and beyond. They take a sincere interest in issues to try to find positive outcomes for everyone. It's not always a criminal matter they're working on. It could be quality of life or a neighborhood issue. And they take a sincere interest. So it personalizes the police. And again, we want you to be able to know, hey, I can call, PBC bobek for this issue instead of just calling dispatch where you might be sent a random officer like in the past. So it really does help with positive outcomes in the community. We appreciate the community being involved, and we appreciate you being here tonight on a Monday to learn more about it, so thank you.
Okay, we already went through some of the things that we do with the program. We've done some food drives, meeting the community. Some of the other officers will talk about the specifics of some of the programs here. Top right here, our pre-COVID meeting that we had. little different than maybe what we're seeing now, but and we've got the opportunity to play dodgeball with some middle school kids, and they're a lot more athletic than I thought they were. So some really fun things. Some block parties that we have the opportunity to attend, and we're continuing to look for ways to engage the community. So that will be one thing as we break out later. If you guys have some suggestions to expand ways that we can get into the community, we'd be open and really look forward to hearing that.
Just jump in real quick.
Yep.
So I can't help myself sometimes. You'll see on the map that town is comprised. There's a town. Our whole geographic area. We're comprised of 5 beats. So you have any given time. You live in one, wherever you live or work. You're in one specific beat, and each day an officer is assigned to that beat. Okay, so they come in at the shift in the morning, and they were told, you're going to patrol in beat 90 today. And they'll answer calls in beat 90 and respond, and they'll also help other beats as well. But what we saw, and what we see a lot in policing, is one day you'll have Officer A in beat 90, and then that officer's off the next day, and another officer will be in beat 90, and maybe those recurring things, as Sergeant Gaylger said, that are going on, oftentimes that communication isn't there because they work 12-hour shifts and they don't see each other quite a bit. And so the concept with this was to find at least one officer for each beat who would act as like a quarterback, and they would really hone in on the issues that were going on in that beat, get to know the people in their beat. When they drive that same beat every day, they see a car that might be out of place. Believe me, when you're driving around at 2 in the morning, you know where everything's supposed to be. But if you're moving from beat to beat to beat, it's a little bit different. And then traditionally, most police departments do that. You'll get a different beat each day. And that's normal. But we wanted to really kind of find officers who would take some ownership of a particular beat, get to know the people in that beat. As the sergeant said, be the face of that beat. Maybe you're not comfortable just reaching out to any old officer, but you do know, Officer Stdler, because you've met Officer Stdler, because she's in your beat every day, and you've run into her, and maybe she's given you her card, and so you might reach out to her in an email with a question. You may have a neighbor dispute. You just can't, you've got some issues going on that you want to talk to somebody, so it personalizes it, and it breaks down some of the typical communication barriers that we see in law enforcement, and then you're able to have these officers who, again, are really committed to that beat, where you live, where you work, and then what they'll do is when they're going off a shift, or if they have a problem going on, they do their darndest to share with the other officers and to keep that communication going. So what we've seen kind of happen over the last 2 years is, they're definitely informal leaders in the department because of the role that they're taking. They've stepped up. They don't get any extra money for the extra work, but they tackle a lot of those tough calls, neighbor disputes. They'll actually bring folks in and we'll do mediation at the police department, maybe about a driveway issue or a dog, and where those neighbors maybe have been arguing for years, or they just can't get past a certain issue. I've seen much success with these officers when they actually sit down with them, and it's the quality of life issues. It's not all about crime. Certainly there are crime issues, but as the commander said, we've really shifted to this guardian mentality versus the warrior mentality. We have to be warriors from time to time, and there are things in our world that sometimes we have to respond to, and believe me, they can, and they do. But there are also a lot of opportunities for us to serve and be guardians, and that's what this position is. And so, they can describe, the sergeant or commander can describe kind of the process that they go through to get to the position. It's complex, it's challenging, and again, he said, among our best and brightest, and they are. So just want to make sure I got that in there. So
Definitely. Thanks, Chief. So
I just want to add one thing. Just a reminder, Highland Park is 12 square miles, and our population is about 30,000 people. So just imagine it might be a little frustrating if you call the non-emergency number trying to get an issue resolved, but now where you live, you have an officer who you're familiar with that you could reach out to, like the chief said, via email or direct with a phone message, to try to work to come up with some solutions to some issues.
Sure, so you can see the town here, the map's a little bit small there to fit everything in, but the chief said we're broke up into 5 different beats. Going north up towards the Fort Sheridan area is beat 90, and we'll have Matt Bobek come up and talk a little bit. Beat 91 is Pablo Gane. The main area is going to be our central business district area, and then Ginger Stokes is in beat 92, which is going to be kind of the Ravinia area, Ravinia Business District, Ravinia Festival, in those areas. Up in the northwest part of town, on the west side of the highway, is going to be Officer Stdler. It's going to be kind of a lot of our car dealerships, a lot of the residential areas up there. And then beat 94 is Styx on the southwest portion of town. So we'll go through now and have each of those officers. Oh. So this is a very coveted role in the department, and what we did was we had a pretty rigorous selection process, what's called our spurs interview process. So each officer had to put themselves out there and go through an interview process, and they were rated, and it was a very, very competitive process to get into this role, and that says a lot about the officers. As the chief mentioned, they don't get paid anymore, and they get a lot more work to be in this role. So that really tells you their focus is in community policing. They're doing it because they enjoy being in this venue and talking to people and meeting with people and really helping people enjoy their day-to-day life. A lot of the things that we deal with are conflict resolution based, and they really do an exceptional job of figuring out really what an issue is, what's going on, and how do we get to the bottom of it, and how do we make life better for people. So we're really, really happy with the team that we have. Hopefully you'll get an opportunity to speak to the police beat coordinator in your area. We're going to do that afterwards on the side. Now we'll just go through, we'll have each of them come up and tell us a little bit about themselves. We'll start with Matt Bobek.
Good evening, I'm Officer Bobek with the Highland Park Police Department. I've been here since 2015. I graduated from Michigan State University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I'm the PBC for Beat 90. 90 is located on the northeast side of town. Pretty much what that covers is everything east of 41 to the lakefront and everything from Old Elm south to Park Avenue. Some of the things within my beat, the high school is there, Northwoods Junior High, Wayne Thomas, the Highlands neighborhood. I also patrol the Fort Sheridan area as well as Sunset Park. So I'm out there. If you guys see me around, please stop by, say hello. Usually running radar, watching stop signs. I'm out there. Some of the other things that I do on top of my PBC work, I'm a breath operator, evidence technician. I also am a drone operator and a juvenile officer within the department. So there's a couple additional things that we do outside of the Police Beat program. But like I said, if you guys see me around, my contact information will be attached to this presentation. So if you have any questions, want to talk to me, get to know me, feel free to reach out through email or you can call me, 847-432-7730. And more than happy to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so as in police work, Sergeant Gaylger just got a call that he had to go deal with, so we are used to kind of rolling with the punches and calling an audible, so I'll step in here for him. And I think I see him coming back. So now we're going to introduce Officer Pablo Ganeja. He's PBC for Beat 91.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pablo Ganeja. I'm the Police Beat Coordinator for Beat 91. And what that is Vine Avenue all the way to the north, and you're going down south to Roger Williams, anything between those two streets, and then from Green Bay Road east to the lakefront. As our admin staff here mentioned, we really want to thank you because today is not possible if the community, if all of you do not show up. We can try to do these events as much as we can, but if there's no communication and there's no attendance from the community, this is not possible. So really, thank you very much for coming here today. Some of the things that I do in the department, like Officer Bobek mentioned, we have multiple officers trained as evidence technicians. Almost everyone is an evidence technician, juvenile officer. There's various roles that we do besides our patrol and PBC, and all the officers will speak about that as well. So I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, majored in political science and Spanish there. Then I got my master's at University of Illinois at Chicago in public administration. I speak, Polish was actually my first language, so I speak Polish, and then I picked up Spanish going through college. So I speak those languages, and I found that's really helped me not only working with the community, but also being able to connect. Somebody, for example, doesn't speak English, they feel a lot more comfortable speaking to somebody in their native language as opposed to having a translator there. So I found it's really helped me connect with the residents and the people. They maybe don't speak English as their first language, and they really feel a little bit more comfortable when somebody speaks to them in their native tongue. Some of the events that I do the Special Olympics events. So you may have heard of Special Olympics Illinois. Includes the torch run, the Cop on Rooftop event, which is now called Coffee for Champions. You see us at Dunkin' Donuts at Park and 41 collecting funds. We do that every year. It used to be in May. We've changed it to August now. So we do that. It's going to be every August now. All the funds that we raise go directly to Special Olympics events. We do that. We just did the plane pull earlier this month. We got a team went to O'Hare. We literally pulled a Boeing 737 plane. We did it in 7.77 seconds, which I thought was really good. We almost beat Chicago SWAT, so if that tells you anything. So we did really well on that. And I would say that's one of the most humbling experiences that I've had as a police officer, was going to the opening games at Special Olympics down in Bloomington Normal and seeing the joy on these kids' faces to be able to participate in these events and be involved and do all these things that I maybe take for granted on a day-to-day basis. That was really something that was very humbling experience, and that's why I continue doing these kind of things, because I think if there's anything I can do, to make someone's life better, anybody's life better, and I can see that it brings them joy, I think that's our job, not only as humans, but as police officers here. And every one of these officers up here think that same way. We see this more than just a job. This is a career, it's a calling for us. We come to work. We're not just coming here to get a paycheck. We're coming here because we want to be part of the community. We spend a good portion of our lives here at work, and we want to connect and really be part of the community, because at the end of the day, I want to come to work, make connections, and that really helps my day go by faster. And every officer will say that they've made meaningful relationships. They know a lot of people from the community. Officer Stokes, which is going to come up later, she probably knows the most people in the community out of everyone. So she's made so many great connections, and she'll be able to talk about that, how that's helped us as a department as a whole, because people see her and they say, oh, is Ginger working today? And I say, yep, she is. Well, can I talk to Ginger? Absolutely. So it's making those connections. That's the reason we're here. We're trying to do this to really put, a face, to the name, and so everyone feels more comfortable, sees us as a human being instead of just, put a name to the badge, right? Because there may be, bad press and everything going on, and by doing things like this, we want you to be more comfortable with us and be able to say, hey, Pavel, hey, Matt, hey, Ginger, hey, Teresa, hey, Nate, Jackie, Monty, I have a question for you, and feel comfortable asking us these questions as opposed to saying, well, you know what, I don't really feel comfortable talking to police right now, so maybe I have this issue that maybe could be solved with our involvement, but you may not want to do that. We want to change that. We want to say, hey, we're out here. If you don't feel comfortable coming to the police station, don't worry. Email us, call us. We'll meet you wherever. If you want to meet at McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever you want to meet, where you feel the most comfortable, that's what we're here to do. So I'm going to let Officer Stokes come up now. She's the police beat coordinator for Beat 92, and she'll tell you, she's probably got the most experience out of any of us here. So I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself and go through everything.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. We all appreciate you being here. Again, coming home on a Monday night after long weekends. My name is Ginger Stokes. I've been a police officer with Highland Park for 25 years. Hence the reason I probably know more people than, as you see, the younger officers here. I'm married with 4 children at home, 3 in college, so I'm very busy, slowing down now. I was fortunate enough when my kids were little, I was in investigations. I worked 4 to midnights. I was able to get out. I wasn't in uniform, but now that I'm back on the road, when the Chief Jogman came and wanted and presented this program, I was kind of apprehensive about doing that program or this program because I know a lot of people in town and I just didn't want to restrict myself to one area. I'm in the Ravinia area, but I said, well, what if I want to go visit one of my friends that live in 90? They're very open to that, very, gracious about, if I want to go to another area just to say hi or whatever, I can. But anyway, that was one of my you know, kind of thinks, well, do I really want to do this and restrict myself every day? But you know what I have to say, it's going on a third year now, 3 years now. I love it. I love being in the same area every day. People that live in my area can probably tell you I have my little routines that I, you know, go talk to people at the dog park. I'll go, you know, to the train station. I'll go through the neighborhood. So it's been a very, very good thing for me. It's like basically dream come true. Give me my keys. I'm gone for the day, and they probably never see me at the station because I don't really go back very often. So this community policing is what I've loved to do and what I've been doing since the very beginning. But now it's approved by everybody. We still have to do the traffic. We still have to go on the calls. And some days are busier where we don't get a lot of, you know, community contact for the day. But in all reality, when we can, it's a great job, and I absolutely love it. I've done some things like Tales for Trails at the Park District at Bink Park. I've been to Lutz Center for open house. I did a Faith in Blue a ceremony at the IC Church in my beat. I've done the brewery, the Ravinia Brewing Company had their Fall Fest. I wasn't able to attend this year, but 2 years ago when they first did it, I did that. But anyway, if you live in my area, or if you see any of these officers, it's just ask for their card, email them. I mean, I have emails coming in all the time and questions about things, if we can help you out, any way we can. I like helping, you know, the disputes we're here for that. I don't get a lot of those because, I mean, we're fortunate that sometimes it happens. For the most part, it's just out there. If you have a question, you want a cup of coffee, you need someone to talk to, give us a call. That's what we like to do. Okay? And I think Teresa Stdler, Officer Stdler's up next. She is in beat 93. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Teresa Stdler. I've been at Highland Park Police Department for 4 years now. I graduated from UIC with a bachelor's in psychology and then got a master's in special education. And prior to starting here, I taught special ed. When I started here, I had the opportunity to plan National Night Out, which is an event that really tries to bridge some gaps between nonprofit organizations in the community with the police department and then our community members. After planning that, it was really great to see how we could really get involved and get to know individual members, and an opportunity to be a part of this program opened up at the beginning of the year, and so I've been a PBC for 6-7 months now. It's allowed me to work together with the neighbors who've had neighbor disputes and like really get to know them on an individual basis, and I really enjoy doing that. My beat is the west side of town, so everything west of the highway to our city limits, and then from Deerfield north to our north city limits. That includes like a lot of our car dealerships, and you know, Dunkin' Donuts is over there, everything else on that west side. I really enjoy doing this, and I really encourage anybody that's in my beat to come find me whenever they see me. Next up is Nate Styx. He's in beat 94.
Hello everybody, I am Nate Styx. I am PBC for beat 94. The first thing that I want to address though is that this picture is not indicative of my personality on a daily basis. I was bamboozled on picture day when everyone told me no smiles, but everyone else did. So we'll get an update here in the near future. So I've been here at the police department for coming on 5 years now. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville in criminal justice. I am a recent addition to the Police Beat Coordinator program, and I'm very, very happy that I was selected to be a part of that. This is a big part of why I became a police officer, was to do exactly what this PBC program, their aim is. So my beat will be south of Deerfield Road and west of Route 41 to Lake Cook Road. So I'm new to this, so I'll be handing out business cards to anybody and everybody I can, because they just gave me a fresh box, so I got a lot of them. So please, if you ever need anything, please give me a call. Give any of us a call. We'll be happy to come help you with anything you need. Next up, we got Jackie White.
Good evening, and thank you for coming. My name is Jackie White. I have actually been here, it'll be 18 years in January. I started in 2004. I graduated from Northeastern Illinois University here in Chicago with a major in psychology and a minor in criminal justice. Prior to coming to Highland Park, I worked in social work, also worked in education, and I did some sports teams coaching in basketball for girls. I'm really excited to do this program because I've always been about connecting and the service part of the job. So in trying to build the public trust and do all that, you have to connect with the community. So that's super, super important. That's why I joined the program. I'm fairly new to the program. I started during COVID, but it's been a great experience so far. Yeah, it's been a great experience, and anytime you see me, just wave. You know, I give out my cards all the time. I kind of play a role where I fill in. So I don't specifically have a beat, but I kind of get in where I fit in with the team. So some of us work nights, some of us work days, you know, so I kind of fill in wherever needed. So feel free. When they're not available, you can give me a call. If I'm not around, we all kind of pass the torch and have a lot of teamwork. So next up is Monty.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Officer Reyes Montana. You'll notice I smiled for my picture. Sorry, Nate. So I have worked for the City of Highland Park in various capacities for the last 22 years. I did 911 dispatching and some CSO work, picking up animals, all that kind of good stuff. But like Jackie, I am one of the cover officers, but I kind of handle more of the tech side of it. You may have seen some of my PSAs on social media platforms. We have a new one coming out. Look forward to that. On ruse burglaries, we'll explain to you what that is in our breakout sessions. But usually, we write the scripts, we film them, and we edit them. That's a process that Amanda in the back knows all too well. She assists me. And while I have your attention on that, we're always looking for additional volunteers. So if you're interested in maybe acting in one of our PSAs or maybe allowing us to use your business or your residence, please let me know. We're always looking for additional volunteers. I am trained as a breath operator, evidence technician, and I'm also the coordinator for the drone program that was mentioned earlier. I really enjoy being part of the PBC program. I like to talk to people. I like to get involved in the community. By the way, Jerry says hi over at the dog park, Ginger. Forgot to mention that. But anytime you see me, please approach me, say hi. Hopefully I'm inviting and welcoming, and I just like talking to people, so please. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so as you can see, quite a diverse group of folks with backgrounds and education, experience, and I think that's what really makes our department unique and special. We have a wonderful group of people who are really committed to doing good police work and really committed to helping folks. And so I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to talk about the concept that really is driving or drives our community policing and just kind of really identifies who we are as a department. And it's this idea of these 10 shared principles of law enforcement. So I just wanted to give you a quick synopsis of what those are. You may or may not have heard of those. They're in Illinois. It's unique to Illinois. I think it's kind of a big deal. And I really am proud of it and how those things are guiding the work we do every day, certainly in light of everything that's gone on nationally in policing. I think this is a really unique experiment that we've done in Illinois. So not too long ago, maybe 2014 or 15, after Ferguson, with the issues in Ferguson, the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police and the NAACP decided to partner together to really figure out and come together on what we wanted policing to look like in Illinois. And it was a very unique collaboration. I wasn't part of the initial conversations, but I've since learned how they went. And, you know, both groups were meeting with the same idea. They wanted good, equitable, fair, just law enforcement. They want people to be safe. They want public safety as a priority. So I think everybody in the room and everybody on the teams had the same goals. But it was really the viewpoints and the lived experiences that kind of maybe drove different perceptions about how to get to those goals. So over like a 2 or 3 year period, they worked on what they thought as a group would be these shared principles of law enforcement, things that we really should focus on, what our priorities are, what law enforcement should really put as their highest priorities in Illinois. And so right in the early part of 2018, they came down to these 10 principles that they all agreed on were paramount to law enforcement being successful in the roles that they do and treating people fairly and, you know, really doing just and equitable policing. And I mean, from what I heard from some of my colleagues, you know, they were focused on one word here and one word there and what it meant to this, and if you change this word, how did it change the whole topic or the whole idea? I mean, they were really detailed in their conversations. One of the things that came out of it is people really got to know each other, and people got to understand and had a better understanding of different lived experiences, both from law enforcement and the minority community. They learned different, you know, different relationships, and maybe being a police officer or running into a police officer didn't mean the same thing to every single person. So they came up with these 10 principles, and we decided in Illinois that we were going to really try to promote them and make sure that our law enforcement agencies throughout the state, you know, were aware of them. When I started here in 2018, they had just passed them, and really, what was really neat was the NAACP and the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, to kind of promote this, got together to sign off on, so they're presidents of each respective group, and they met in the old state capitol in Illinois, down in Springfield, where Lincoln had his House Divided speech, and thought that was just really poignant, and what a great way to kick these off. And so they signed off on them, and then they, you know, there wasn't much of a plan for them to move forward other than this is what we should kind of pay attention to. When I started here in February of 2018, and I met with the staff individually, and I talked to everybody and got to start to know them, I really realized what a special group this was. And so we talked about this concept that we, as a department, individually, would all sign a document supporting these, saying to our community that this is who we are, and this is what we stand for, and we want you to hold us to these things. And I'm telling you, I was just so pleasantly, I wouldn't say surprised, but it was a wonderful experience to see that every single member of our department put their name, a la the Declaration of Independence, on a huge document that had these 10 principles, basically forming a social contract saying, this is who we are, this is what we're going to do, and you can hold us to this. And I thought it was a really, like I said, a big moment for us. And so we went to City Council, and we had Teresa Stdler, the president of the NAACP. She was on a Zoom, she was zoomed in, and our officers read them. And just if you can't see them, I mean, they're things that you would hope and think that should be important to all law enforcement, but again, it's just in how you incorporate them into your work. So number one, of course, is we value the life of every person and consider life to be the highest value. I mean, that has to be number one. Number two is we treat every person with dignity and respect. Number three, we reject discrimination based on race, ethnicity, religion, color, nationality, immigrant status, sexual orientation, gender, disability, or familial status towards any person. Number four is we endorse the 6 pillars in the report of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. President Obama came out with that in 2015. The first pillar is to build and rebuild trust through procedural justice, transparency, accountability, and an honest recognition of past and present obstacles. We endorse the 4 pillars of procedural justice, which are fairness, voice, transparency, and impartiality. And we endorse the values inherent in community policing. So right there you can see that that one's important to us. Which includes community partnerships involving law enforcement, engagement of police officers with residents outside of interaction, specific to enforcement of laws, and problem solving that's collaborative, not one-sided. We develop strong ongoing relationships between law enforcement, communities of color at the leadership level, and street level to diminishing and eliminate racial tension. And this one is kind of the most important one for tonight. We encourage all citizens to gain a better understanding and knowledge of the law and of policing in general to assist them in their interactions with law enforcement officers. We need the community to partner with us. We need the community to come out and to kind of understand to the extent that they can the work we do. I don't know what it takes to be a neurosurgeon or a pharmacist or a dental hygienist. I have no idea what that work entails, and I'm sure they could teach me a few things about their work. The thing about law enforcement is when you see it on TV and you see the news and everybody has an opinion and maybe not a great understanding of how things really happen, but you know, because we're talking sometimes about life and death, injuries, depriving people of their, you know, their freedom by putting them in jail, everybody's involved, and we need the public to really have a better appreciation and an understanding if we're going to really be effective of what the job really entails. And so that's why we're doing what we do tonight. That's why we have our Citizens Police Academy. You can watch TV and you can watch the police shows, but I'm here to tell you 99% of that stuff is not what we're dealing with every day. There wouldn't be no TV show watching what I do every day, because I sit behind a desk and I write things and sign things. It would not be really a lot of entertainment. So number 9, we support diversity in police departments and law enforcement. We understand that we need to diversify our departments to really connect again with our communities. And then number 10, very important, we endorse using de-escalation training and tactics. So these 10 principles may sound like, you know, I don't know, that's not, sometimes some officers are like, yeah, that's like a no-brainer. Of course I do that. But do you really, and is it really paramount in your mind? So what we did, again, is we were the first in the state of Illinois to have all of our officers sign off on it. Highland Park, City of Highland Park, first in the whole state. We decided that that was something that was important to us. And since then, and since the Illinois chiefs became aware of us doing it, now I think they're up to about 250 agencies in Illinois have followed suit and done what we've done and really committed to these principles. And it's not just that we've committed to them and then we put them on the wall. We incorporate these things into everything we do. They're on the back of our business cards. We incorporate them into our interview process. We'll ask people to tell us how they, you know, support whichever principle maybe affects the position they're going for. When we have new hires for candidates, for new police officers, we talk about these principles and ask them what they mean to them and let them describe to us how they would, you know, deal with them or support them. If we do something well, we put them in and reflect which principle was supported by what they did. If sometimes we don't do something well, which happens, we're not perfect. Sometimes, like I always will say, we don't always get it right, but we work to make it right. And certainly, you know, which principle maybe did we not do our best on? So we are always incorporating these principles into the very fabric of our department. And the officers, the work that they do every day is centered around all of these. And I'm proud of that in Highland Park, because I just know we have taken it to a level. I have a lot of colleagues throughout the state, and we've taken it to a level that I know no other department has taken it to. We are committed to it, and it really defines who we are. So I wanted to share that with you all. Certainly, if you weren't aware of them, that you should be, and you should be proud, like I said, first in the entire state to do this and to really support these principles and stand behind them and really integrate them into everything we do. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Bill Bonigue, who's just going to go over quickly just some of the cool things that we've actually been doing over the last couple of years, COVID notwithstanding, but some of the cool programs.
Thanks, Chief. Good evening, everybody. I'm incredibly proud of this team that we have here. They are really taking this to the next level. Chief Jogman brought the idea in, like they said, and it's done just wonders. And now that we're getting back in the community again, it's going to go even to the next level. We are doing quite a few things, as you're going to see here, and some of them have been talked about, so I won't spend too much time on them. Special Olympics, Officer Ganea has been involved with. Coffee with the Cops. We'll host an event, and maybe at McDonald's or something, invite the community to come and have some coffee with us, talk to us, similar to what we do with the Police Beat Coordinator program, but just another opportunity to engage and learn from each other. National Night Out, Officer Stdler got that ball rolling for us a few years ago. We got back out in person again this year, had a great event, really good attendance. Looking forward to that continuing to grow. When our students go back to school, we will be out there and greet them. I think there's a picture here where we'll do pencils on the first day back to school and try to get every school and as many students as we can just to kind of start their school year off on a positive note. Then throughout the year, we'll have various Fridays where we'll do high five Fridays and maybe fist bumps nowadays, but whatever the case may be, that we can still just greet the kids and say hi and let them know that we're there for them. Spoke about the dodgeball at the middle school. That was fun. I think there's a picture up there. No, that one didn't make it. We've gone through the a lot of the different things, but we're not done. There's more. Recently, we formed an honor guard team. So we have a sergeant and a group of officers that have special uniforms, and they've been trained for honor guard type ceremonies. We are actually, is it this Friday? This Friday, they're going to be at the Highland Park High School football game. So if you get the opportunity to stop out and see them, we'd love to have you there. Faith in Blue was a new program that we got involved with just a week and a half or so ago. That's where we partner with the religious institutions in town. We reached out to every religious institution that we have in town here and made plans to meet with those that could have us, and those that we couldn't yet, we hope to get with in the future. But once again, just another segment of the community that we look for anything we can do to help and foster our positive relationships with. Photo Voice is pretty cool. That's for the middle schools, where the students do a project where they talk about healthy or smart choices, write a little paper and do some art for it. And then the teachers get together and they pick some of the outstanding projects and put them on display at the Art Center, so you can kind of see that over on the side there. We did similar, kind of taking off the 10 shared principles, an ILACP, Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, and the NAACP World Cafe event at the high school, where a bunch of us, not only from our own department, but from also other police departments in town, and we invited not only students, but teachers and families to sit down and talk about issues and concerns. And we also go through specifically the 10 shared principles and talk about how they apply to each of us and how we can work together to continue to foster those 10 shared principles. We have a City of Highland Park career exploration program. So not just the police department, but all the different positions in the city. Any students that have an interest in public service, whether it be police, fire, public works, library, senior center, you name it, they can partner with somebody from the particular division that they have an interest in. So we usually get somebody that wants to learn about police, and we are happy to host them, spend the day with us, and kind of show them the various aspects of the police department. Our social worker, Dr. Plazas, and our senior center social worker, Jennifer Aleo, have been working on a dementia-friendly program. So all of the police officers in our department have had some training in dementia-friendly. We're going to expand upon that training soon, but basically it is awareness and how can we help people that are having any issues with dementia. We're expanding that with businesses very soon so that we can get some businesses that are certified and go through the training and make it a friendly place for people with dementia to visit. We've hosted a police department open house, kind of goes with number 8 of the shared principles, where community education and learning about what we do. They kind of come in and see the police department, and just kind of walking through the building will prompt questions, and again, it's a wonderful opportunity again to interact. We have our officers and our PBCs go and read books as guest readers at our schools. We've been involved with honor flights for our veterans, where we go and help escort members of our community to and from the airport that go on the honor flights. We've sponsored veterans coat drives. And we keep going. So let's see, caught doing something good. That is this one up here, where we see kids doing something good, like in this case wearing helmets. We'll offer them a sweet treat for something like a Frosty at Wendy's. Citizen Police Academy has been great. I believe we've got a current member and some graduates in our audience today. This is a program where we meet once a week for, I forgot how many weeks, Chief, help me. 10 weeks, is it? Roughly 10 weeks. So each week we'll go through different topics, like from doing traffic stops to how to collect evidence and fingerprints to a day at the range doing firearms training, defensive tactics and handcuffing and de-escalation, all just a kind of a taste, big broad picture taste of all the different things that we do. And then we do that with our youth in the Youth Citizen Police Academy too. We'll do that in the summer when they're off school and do a little bit age appropriate version of it. And we've also done that with the special education department at the high school. Our PBCs will also, if we learn of new residents, we stop out, knock on the door, give them a welcome packet, introduce ourselves. We attend block parties, and also some of the de-escalation community education programs like de-escalation simulation training. That's a tongue twister. We recently, over the summer, we have a system that's made by a company called Megit. It's a firearms training simulator, and what it does is it will display a video of scenarios that are based on real life events, and our officers have to make decisions and have some interaction with the program. And depending on how they do it and what they say and what they do, the situation may get worse, it may de-escalate. We're trying for de-escalation, and they have to make crucial decisions. So we were very fortunate to have members of the community and partner agencies come in this summer and see firsthand what we do. So it was great because it started to build more relationships, more conversations, better understanding of what we're doing out there, and it's just been phenomenal. So I think that's the last of those, but thank you again for coming. And I gotta say, the Chief talked about boring job being on the desk. I have a very similar job to him. It's not all boring, but I am jealous. I wish we had this program when I was new. I would have loved to have done it, but so be it. But they're doing a great job, and please take advantage of them, get to know them. If you don't know who's your specific beat coordinator, if you're unsure about the borders, we'll be happy to help. But a lot of information just there that we all presented collectively. So if you have questions in general about the overview or some of the community-wide type stuff, we'd be happy to entertain them now. Otherwise, what we'll do is we can break out into individual groups depending on your beat, and you can ask specific questions if you have them that are unique to your beat, and just get to know your PBC. So any questions so far?
Okay, that means we did a great job in explaining everything. So we're going to have our PBCs.
Thank you, everybody.
There's a number on each table, and if you want to hang around and talk to your PBC and ask specific questions or just at least get to know them, feel free. They're going to go over to their tables. And again, can't thank you enough for coming out. You can see everybody's time is valuable. We certainly understand that. But I've been doing these events for 30 years, similar events, and it's hard to get people to come out because everybody's got things to do, but we need people to come out. We want to keep putting out the Albert. We need people to come out so we can talk. So we'll continue to do these, so please encourage your neighbors, friends. Next time we want to keep them growing and keep getting to know our community. So thank you again. Feel free to stop by and visit your PBC, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.